Hi. So today I'm going to fly my eHawkeye Weekender. I've had this plane for about 2 years, maybe more. It's had its share of crashes, and I've repaired it and purchased parts for it, motor, ESC. It's a really small plane. I just pack it up in this box. I made some cutouts here for the elevator. I can just pack it up and put it on my bike. So the other day I managed to I had to glue some Velcro tape to the bottom because it wouldn't stick. So I'm going to try to fly this with the camera, and I just wanted to see how it goes. Thought I would post it and let you take a look too. Got another guy flying his plane out here. I don't know if you can see that. Let's get it on there really good. All the controls seem to be working. Okay, now that I got this thing in the air, I'm noticing that it keeps wanting to dip because the camera's making it nose heavy. Doing a short circuit around the park and adjusting my elevator trim, so I actually had to adjust it to its maximum just so I could keep it level. This is a 3-channel plane, which means it just has rudder, elevator, and throttle. There's no ailerons. So when you turn with the rudder, because of the design of the wings, it causes the pressure to change when you change the, I think it's the yaw of the plane. So it'll actually bank when you turn, as opposed to a flat wing plane where you have to use the ailerons to bank left or right, and then you pull up on the rudder in order to turn. The dihedral of the wings is what it's called. It's the bent shape of the wings. Causes it to do that. I've noticed on some standard planes like Cessna models and stuff, the forward wing will have a kind of a bent shape to it, kind of a V shape, starting from the fuselage and then going up from there. And that just causes it to bank when you use the rudder. This is one of the planes I practiced with before I switched to an aileron plane. It got me used to banking the plane left and right and then pulling up on the rudder in order to turn. And after doing that for a while, you get real comfortable with it, and for me, it's kind of the only way to fly. I also want to apologize for the propeller. You can see it's turned into a series of lines. Probably has something to do with the frame rate of the camera I'm using. When it's not annoying, it's actually kind of mesmerizing. Also, when I'm flying towards the sun, which is in this case is south, it's middle of winter, so the sun's low on the horizon. Here's my loop. This isn't a really powerful plane, so I have to get some altitude and then dive before I can loop. Anyway, when I'm flying towards the sun, I'm actually flying into the wind, at least for today. Most of the time it's like that at this park. I have to toss the plane south in order to toss it into the wind. It's not real fast, and it's actually, I've lowered the volume of the recording a bit because it's actually pretty loud, but from my perspective, it's very quiet. It just buzzes around the park without hardly a noise. been a pretty reliable plane. It's a nice one to have because I call it my pocket glider because it's really small. I can just toss it in with my radio in my bag or something. If the park's not too small, I can fly it. I've actually flown it in some really rocky areas before, just because I wanted to fly. Found an open space, but there were rocks and valleys and trees everywhere, so I just had to be careful, but it's pretty easy to control. Here I'm trying to get some altitude. See if I can get a shot inside the Rose Bowl there. Another note about this plane, they don't make them anymore. I called the company and it's a discontinued model. They do have some parts in stock, so I ordered some extra parts for it. I've broken propellers on this thing twice, so even though the propellers fold back, if you don't cut the engine at the right time or do something stupid, the propeller will catch the ground and break off, so you have to be careful there. Oh, I'm trying to tail this other plane that's in the park, but he's too big and too fast for me to follow. So, but I gave it a shot just to see if I could, and I couldn't. Okay, now I'm getting kind of comfortable with the plane. So I'm going to take a shot at some flying close to the ground. It's my favorite kind of flying. When the plane's stable enough, there's not too much wind, I like to get real close to the ground and just buzz around the park. So it's not too windy. I'm noticing it tends to want to jerk around a little bit, so I probably need to set my radio so I can control the plane a little bit better. I've had it set for different planes, but it's been a while since I've done the settings on that particular radio, and it's a little bit complicated. Plus the camera on it tends to throw off the way it flies a little bit, so I have to keep it full throttle all the time. If I drop the throttle, it just wants to dip. Well, here I'm trying to say, I'm going to land now, but I didn't realize it was so loud on board. It seemed pretty quiet from where I was standing. That was a really good flight, if I say so myself. I had to set the elevator trim way back because the camera is obviously putting some weight on the front. But other than that, the breeze isn't really bad, but I really like the way this plane flies. It's really smooth. It's not super fast. The Sea Ray is faster, but it shimmies more in the wind, and I can fly this plane closer to the ground than I can the Sea Ray, as you can tell. So I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. Thanks for watching.